In the orbit of an old and forgotten RimWorld, a spaceship tore asunder. Of the escape pods that managed to launch, 3 made landing within a coastal tropical rainforest. Their names were Grub, NG and Olga. And with them, their little cat Killer also managed to make it to safety. The survivors decided to quickly grab whatever weapons they could, for this was a planet with many dangers, such as the explosive boomer loops, cobras, mischievous groups of monkeys, and some animals that weren't so bad and just wanted to get by. They had to act fast, cut down the trees and build a shelter, for nightfall would soon be upon them. They all knew that in a planet like this it wouldn't just be animals that would come to attack them. I heard the stories of raiders, bandits, and even strange mechanoids built only to destroy whatever was around them. Olga, forever the green thumb, set about planting the first seeds of potato, corn and rice so that they could survive the long haul, at least until rescue arrived. It was hoped by them all that they wouldn't require these harvests, but it kept them busy, and it never hurt to be prepared for what may come their way. It was a great fortune that 3 incredibly skilled people were to land so close to one another. Surely they'd make it through this. To help ensure their safety, they decided to build a wall, protect them from the dangers of the forest, especially from this particularly shifty alpaca that seemed to gaze in their direction every so often. What evil intent could it be hiding? Night came, and they all decided to rest. Yet, even within their dreams, none of them could shake off the feeling of just how very alone they were. I know a wonderful idea, thought Olga as she consumed a packaged survival meal. Why don't we build a kitchen and a storeroom where we may hold all our goods? Surely the others will think this a fruitful prospect. It seemed quite a pleasant planet now they had time to get themselves adjusted from the initial shock of the crash. The monkeys didn't seem crafty at all, and were quite friendly company to have, even if some were a bit more sleepy than others. Within her travels, Olga came across a sleeping cougar and held out a knife before it. She wondered whether she could be brave enough to quickly slit its throat. If it woke up, could threaten all of them. In the end, she decided not to, and went off to warn the others just in case. They would need more supplies if they were to survive long term, and the scrub decided to mine the nearby rocks for metal. They also came across a most curious sight: machinery. Ancient technology that had almost fossilised into the earth itself. Just how old was this planet, and what amazing designs did they have here? It occurred to Grub that maybe they'd be able to unearth a robot buried here for hundreds of years, or uncover a new alien life form. As they were working on building the kitchen, visitors arrived from the Cook's Forest. They visited the colony brandishing knives, but seemed hospitable enough. They kept to themselves mostly while the others worked. The group didn't know how to respond to these guests, whether they should attempt friendly communications or trade, although it's not like many people would desire packaged survivor meals that have been left out in the rain, so they carried on working and kept their weapons close, just in case events did go hostile. The residents of Cook Forest soon went on their way, passing the sleeping alpacas and boomalopes, but not before imparting a warning to the freaked down space travellers: beware of raiders, for they will come soon. With the sun welcoming the former cosmonauts to a 3rd day, Grub suggested that they finally give this place a name. After all, who knows how long they'll be living here. They decided to call this after their former spaceship, and thus the colony received the name Altura. They decided to celebrate by shooting upon a sleeping cobra. The cobra was vicious, however, and bit Grub. Fortunately, I was able to swiftly kill the creature. He took a bite to the torso, but nothing a little bit of bed rest and a medikit wouldn't be able to solve. It was regrettable that Olga had no real medical training. After bandaging the wound on Grub, Olga carried on working. They decided to place a monkey corpse in what would eventually be their fridge. Building a basic unit to keep the place cold should be no trouble at all. Everything is achievable with time. Killer decided to take a quick nibble of the monkey before continuing with her day. Nearby, a local monkey went insane. Frothing at the mouth, it went towards Grub with wild abandon. The others quickly saw this at a distance and readied their weapons. With luck, it wouldn't be a repeat of last time, but they took an injury from that vicious snake. The monkey attempted to latch itself onto Grub, forcing him to run away. "Olga, get back!" Grub continued running in circles, whilst Olga ran towards the monkey with her plasteel knife, and with a single blow she killed it. It was a pity that Grub, the only one with any real medical training, was always the one getting himself injured, and thus the task went to Olga, who was more of a cook than she was a doctor. The boars seemed quite well mannered for Olga as she walked past them. She knew men on the Artura spaceship that were more pigs than they were. As she took a nightly stroll, she came upon the corpse of a boar. She couldn't tell what killed the creature, but decided to take it home. It could provide quite a nutritious meal, if they could ever get a stove built in time, that is, before it rotted. Grub was determined to ensure they would all survive, and thus he continued working in the rain while the others slept. He was a good leader, and a fine shot too. He did consider himself lucky that he had two good women to live with, even if Olga did bandage the head for a chest wound. It became apparent to Olga that some of the animals had started rotting. They would need to get the refrigeration set up soon, or else they risk wasting all this precious meat. They were about their day when a wanderer decided to join their colony, a woman called Scagnetti, wielding a steel mace and wearing body armour. They welcomed her with opened arms, and she quickly set about eating potatoes. It was easy to make friends with her, though the sight of her was somewhat unnerving, wearing body armour and nothing else whatsoever. She was strong, carrying chunks of metal with ease, taking them to the storeroom so that they may one day be used to help build the walls and various machinery they would construct. With a fourth set of hands, they could help build their colony at an even greater rate. She had skill in engineering, building power conduits, so that Altura could have electricity. She would need her own bedroom if she was to remain a permanent resident. It was a pity they had even more work to do when they still hadn't finished off the kitchen. Food was becoming scarce. They'd have to start eating the raw flesh of the animals that had died here. The next batch of potatoes still weren't ready. It would take another week until they were suitable for harvest. While the others slept, Scagnetti was quick to prove herself that she was a worthwhile addition to Artura. With her experience, she was able to craft their first solar generator, bringing much needed power. But it wasn't all hard work. Every so often they'd play a fun game of horseshoes. Grub with his careful aim would always achieve victory against them. As the fourth solar panel was being made, another group of travellers arrived. Visitors from Fletcher's Mountain. A pity they had nothing to sell at all. Scagnetti could really do with some clothes. The rain played havoc with her health, but she would not let it show. She was brave, intelligent, and fierce. It wasn't beyond Grub to wonder whether she would make a better leader than he. Working as a team, they successfully crafted their very first stove and butcher table, so that they could finally feast upon the animals in a safe manner. Olga was as good a chef as she was a gardener, and crafted fine meals made of potato and boar meat, and sometimes berries and rice. It was good to have a variation. Upon this planet were a group of raiders. They called themselves the Shotguns. One of them, Sympharia, came alone to Artura, hoping to secure an easy kill against the party. The Shotguns would soon learn that Artura would never be afraid to fight. Sympharia was a mere recruit. This would be her true initiation into the Shotguns. Little did she know that she'd be sent to her death. I cared little for her. Sympharia let out a scream and charged towards Grub. He managed to get a successful shot on her, but had to flee before she got in too close with her blade. Scagnetti decided to attack her from behind, whilst Grub tried to get a better shot off. They engaged with in melee. Twice she bashed her, but Sympharia kept on the assault. Scagnetti was wounded, but she fought well, and as a reward, she's finally able to get some clothes at last. Shoddy, but at least it was something to protect her from the rain. They wondered what to do with the body. Should they just leave it there as a warning to others? No, that would be too grim. They weren't the shotguns, sending people off to their deaths. They'd bury the body. It was late, and she walked out into the pouring rain to dig a grave. They had no love for this raider, but that doesn't mean they should disrespect the dead. Engie, forever the narcoleptic, fell asleep in the midst of her task. She wanted to build 6 graves, but was so tired she only managed the one. She carried the body and put it to rest, and then fell asleep in the rain again. While they slept, fortune came upon them. Delicious Yorkshire Terrier meat, very close to where the colony was located. The refrigeration unit was set up, and the meat could finally be frozen. We've been living in the darkness too long for the colonists. Let's make some lights and finally clean up this place. We've been living in this forest so long we've forgotten how to act like civilized people. Working as a team, they were able to build these lights within a single day. Altura was finally starting to look like a real home. They had the way to create power, but not to store it. They would need to create some batteries so that they would continue having electricity during the night time. It was just past midnight, it was foggy and raining, but still, that doesn't mean it's an unsuitable time to be playing a game of horseshoes with friends, even if they were only 20 foot away from a sleeping cougar. They started to talk to one another. Engie asked, "How are we throwing horseshoes if we have no arms?" Olga had no words and walked away. Such questions are better left unanswered in this world. The first batteries were finally put into motion. Now even in the dead of night they would still have power. This was a great accomplishment for the group. So far a lot of these animals seemed to be good company, grazing freely upon their farm. Even Killer the cat was making friends with the local cougar, or as Grub called her, Scagnetti. They were wrong. Killer lay dead, attacked by the cougar. I couldn't let it live. Engie fired first. The cougar wanted retribution and ran towards Scagnetti while the others fired upon it. "Quick, kill the bastard," she shouted. It was down, but not dead. Scagnetti, in her anger, decided to beat the creature to death. How dare this vicious animal attack pure and wonderful Killer the cat? She didn't seek medical treatment straight away, and instead decided to put the animal in the fridge first, where its corpse could eventually be butchered for meat. They would feast upon him. Scagnetti was idly throwing horseshoes onto the metal pole they'd planted. They were wrong. Every one of them. This place wasn't safe at all. It was evil, filled with cruelty and malice. They would need defences. In the morning, she would speak to the others and tell them that they would build steel improvised gun turrets, which would destroy anything that would dare harm them. Killer was a member of Altura. He would be missed dearly.